Hi guys, at the moment on Telegram we are discussing possibilities for an installation. So as a user you have wishes, right? So the ArcoLinux info website is where you get all the information you need, and the main page, the landing page, right, is telling you that ArcoLinux is a bit bigger than the ISOs of ArcoLinux. We have our ISOs to install Arch, 44 ways to install Arch. We have Kali, we have Arizer, we have ALCI, the ArcoLinux ISO itself. You just type it, or a script Arch install. So any of these things ends up into an ArcoLinux basically, because it's all ArcoLinux, any of these things. And all you need to do is get more stuff in, remove stuff, add configs, done. You can even install it on so many different other distros, like real distros like Garuda and Btrfs and so on, and make those guys an ArcoLinux, awesome, BSPWM, and so on, right? It's just configs and packages. And that's what we try to learn you at our ArcoLinux University. Topic of this video is the discussion at the moment going on Telegram about Btrfs. Right? If Calamaris, and this is Calamaris, is not sufficient to provide with the choices and needs that you have, then there is the ArcoLinux ISO. Both ways here. But there is also the Arizer project, and that's this video, right? You have an ISO that you can download and explore what it's all about, how it works, and how beautiful you can make it, as you can see. But it's basically about building your own ISO and taking control of the way how Arch is installed, rather than filling in variables, basically, right? So in here we have not that much to study, right? This is it. And we have also made already a video about how to create an encrypted system, because the question is Btrfs and encryption. But I'm neither a specialist in both, right? Neither of them I know anything about really, because I stick to ext4 and I stick to unencrypted things. But it is possible, as you see here, not very clearly, but crypt boot it says. So yes, you can make encrypted things, and you have here the encryption logs to ArcoLinux installation use encrypted on Arizer ISO. It's just a variable where you say true or false, right? I see here LVM false, and I see logs password. So that's it. You need to fill in the logs password, and he knows, ooh, I should encrypt everything. It's not that difficult. Now, the thing is, if you download it, if you go to the GitHub, let's see if we find that one. So home of the Alice project, home of the Arizer project, both of them are valid links. This is going to the developer himself. It's not me who's writing scripts, it's Pico. Pico has written scripts. And in here you'll find also some configs. Alice with a bias, with ext4, with grub, with logs, with LVM. Bias with ext4 and grub. Bias, no, EFI, Btrfs, logs, LVM, systemd, AOR. Right? And all of this, let's take just one of them. All of this is replacing, if you know a little bit of scripting, it says set, replace something with something, and that's it. And if you run this thing, it's basically gonna change anything in the one level up. Let's make this so, like so, right? Alice conf probably, right? Here are all your parameters. Control find Btrfs. So here you have the subvolumes, line 40. Change them any way you see fit. But you should tell them to use this one and not that one. And that's all, right? If we remove the exclamation mark here and put it before ext4, that's it. Your file system will be Btrfs. So it's not that hard. It isn't. It isn't. You can either do it on the fly, so in the live environment, nano, go to this file, change it, exclamation, and an exclamation there, right? And that's it. And then run the script, and you have a Btrfs system. Or you can take it one step further and actually make your own ISO, like we have explained here, and say, okay, let's make something that will last forever and ever. Because if it's your decision, if you know what you want, right? If you know what you want, then you better save it for next time and next time and next time and have your ISO ready. And it's exactly the same thing. I've done exactly the same thing. This is my setup. This is what I want for my system. So if Calamares at some point in time would stop working, stop functioning, no support anymore, right? We have a riser, we have Pico. And Pico is the developer of the scripts, and it works awesome. And this will become my ISO. Sierra is ready as a fallback if Calamares stops working. And I've made my decisions already in Alice Sierra, so I've made my own setup, and I want SDM. I don't want LightDM, I want SDM, and so on and so on. And later on I'll run get nemesis repo. It's as easy as that. Alright, so what can you do? You can have a look at this Ariser project. And in here you'll find that there are possibilities. So as an example, Control C, right? Let's go and change some of these things. So either you go to the config and you run this thing, right? Let's have a look. LL, right? You run that thing. And then you can actually, you're changing the file .ls.conf, right? But you have to see where it's going to. He needs to find it, right? Because ls.conf is not here. And that's the script from Pico, unchanged. I've dabbled with my own scripts. So configs with a Z is my own script. And it's a little bit different because we need to go to ls.conf. So I told him that's where the file is. And all I do is say the desktop environment is gonna be KDE. So when I run that, that works. Then it's gonna change this variable into KDE. That's it, right? If that's the only change, you're golden. If not. So either you go in here to the ls.conf and start changing code, plain text, Perl, change all the things you see and you like for instance this one, right? Btrfs, remove and add an exclamation here. Or you say this is the default thing. Actually this would be the easiest, right? This is really the easiest because it's just putting an exclamation mark there. It is, right? Just that. Save. And you keep on doing things like that. Or you say I don't know what I'm doing, and then you go to the configs and then do Ctrl+Shift+2 and have a look. So BIOS is out, old computers. EFI is in, fine. ext4, no, not a fan of ext4, fine. Btrfs, systemd, Btrfs lux LVM systemd AOR. Is this the thing you want? I don't know, right? You have to make your own decisions. So logging is false. No, I would say logging is true. Device is auto, okay. File system Btrfs, okay. LVM true, okay. Lux password, okay. Root password and so on. All the passwords, lux. Bootloader systemd, maybe you choose something else. It says desktop information, desktop environments, okay. Kept out of it. package install is true, AOR is true, we're going to use paro bin and GNU cache. But what I would do, like I've done, right, is Control C and create a different folder and map. Oh, yeah. And then go change it in here. So the logging, I shouldn't change the logging. I want it to be true. So don't change any of that. Btrfs, it's okay. Now, ls.conf, Control Z, save. So let's remove some things here. Wow, another one. So ls.conf, this is the default setting. This is what I would like to change or not. No, not this one. Configs with a Z, right? Configs with a Z. Save. So if I run this, the device will become auto. Device is already auto. So I don't need that line. So restrict your changes to the things you want to change. LVM is true. LVM is false. Okay, LVM is true. Lux password is there. Root password, retype, it says. Let's have a look. So Lux password, let's see if I can change that to Eric. Let's see. Lux password, where in the code should I change that? The password is ArcoLinux, I think. Is that it? All right. So not my password, right? Now, some of these things already there, so I don't need to use all of them. So Control D, Control Z, Control F, password. Find. There is. So root password, retype. Root password, retype. These guys, don't change it. Don't change it. Save. What else? User password. User password is already filled in. Don't need to change any of that. So basically it's just the Lux password. Because I don't use Lux, I need to type it in. So that's gonna change. Then the question on Telegram was the bootloader, right? So in here somewhere you have the choice to have auto, grub, refine, systemd, EFI, stub. I think the question was to have systemd. So bootloader, systemd. Was it, Eric? Yeah, it was. It was systemd. So that's okay. Don't need to change it. Bootloader, go to systemd. Desktop environment is nothing at this point in time. But since I'm a fan of XFCE, you don't need to change that for me. Otherwise, you change it. Desktop environment, delete. Did I do that correctly? Whole line. Yeah. Package install. I've made my decisions, right? I've made my decisions. Packages. I know what I want to have. It's in the ISO there, in the file there. Save. Now, this is the old way of doing things. So take a look at the other one again. I tell him the whole path. That's where you need to go. Don't go to the same one directory up and stuff like that. Just go here, because then I know it will be correct. I wonder actually if it's correct. Anyway, we'll see, because it is trial and error as usual. So that's that. If I want to run my configs, I go for an ls config EFI Btrfs. But before I do, let's take a look at one thing: the file system type. File system type Btrfs. Here, line 39. If I run this, I thought as much. This is created to be changed on the ISO, on the fly, right? So there is no root ls.conf, but on the ISO there is. So if I run this on the ISO, it will change. Now if I want to test it here, I need to tell where it's gonna go. So lsconf is indeed one level up. So Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. This is good. Save, Super F. I'll run it again. And then it says lsconf. Okay, so one more. True. One more. So we better, yeah, it doesn't take much time to put some points there, right? Some dots. One directory up. And then we save again. Nothing happened. That's a good sign. So file system type is Btrfs, check. Lux LVM is true. Eric is Eric here. Any other changes I've made? That was the system D, the bootloader. And that's it. We've all checked all of it already. Just the bootloader. Okay, Ctrl find. Bootloader. There he is, system D. So these are my variables that I've chosen, and you go change more and more and more. But do you need a script like this? No, not really, right? You don't need this. It's just handy if you do not know yet what you want to have and want to switch between things. But if you know what you're doing, if you know what you want, you just go in ls.conf. And this will be your setting for the rest of life, right? And there are so many other options. You have to investigate and dig in to see if you want it, if you want to change it. So this is one way of doing things. This is a solution for the person on Telegram. Making it, if you know what you want, right? If your goal is, I know what I want, but the tools I get can't help me, Calamares, can't help me. Maybe this is your thing. This is filled with scripts with all possibilities. You really have to dig into it. It has lots and lots of variables to be set. And then you have your own ISO, right? Because in the end, these are scripts, but we've made videos about it. You can actually have your own ISO. Ariser.eu, build your own ISO, and we've called it area, and we had to call it something, right? You can call it anything you like. It's gonna be your system. Make your own personal ArcoLinux ISO based on Ariser, and really no pauses in the video. Under 60 minutes you've got it. But of course you've got the knowledge, I've got the knowledge to do some things, and afterwards we get the Nemesis scripts in, and I have my CHDWM on it, and I'm happy, right? So this is the way to do it without Calamares. Calamares does not exist. We do not know anything about it. Then this is one of the things, one of the ways to do it, and have Arch on there. And then you get your dot files in. You run something similar as get Nemesis, ArcoLinux Nemesis, right? And that's it. All right. Hopes that makes it clear for the user in particular, and for other users to say, what is this all about? This is a super powerful thing. You do not rely anymore on Calamares. You are relying on the development of Pico, and Pico has been developing like forever and keeps putting out better code. So yeah, why not? Why not try it? All right, cheers.